Welcome to Science Lab with Mrs. Keener. Information hidden in codes. It's not just for spies. Every time you enter personal information like a credit card number and a website, if you buy something online, your personal information needs to be protected from other people. So it's encrypted or encoded. That means it's translated into a form that makes it hard for other people to read it. And then the person at the other end that you want it to go to can decode it, decrypt it. Today, we're going to use a similar system called Morse code. Before Morse code, before telephones, before computers, if you wanted to talk to somebody that was far away, you had to send them a letter. Samuel Morse realized that people could send messages through a wire using an electrical circuit by sending electricity through a wire. When it's a complete circuit and electricity is flowing, there's a beeping sound. When you open the circuit and electricity doesn't flow, the sound stops. So you can send sounds and you can make them as short or as long as you want. So in Morse code, you use patterns of short sounds and long sounds, and these represent different letters. People have agreed on a standard key, and each letter has its own set of symbols, its own pattern. So for example, if you wanted to send somebody a message and the first word started with the letter A, you would look at a Morse code key, a chart, and you would look up the letter A. You would see that an A has a short symbol and a long symbol. That means you make a very short sound called a dit, and then a longer sound called a da. So when you listen, you would hear dit da, a short beep and then a longer one. You need to leave spaces between the letters so the people at the other end know when a new letter is starting. And you can send as many letters as you like. So you can send a long message that way. Now let's learn how to write a message in Morse code. Let's say I wanted to send the message, "Hi, OPS." I would look up each letter on the chart. I'm going to use graph paper so it makes the spacing easier to see. If you have graph paper, please get some and do this along with me. If you just have lined paper or blank paper, use that instead, and you'll have to estimate the spacing between the symbols. The first letter I want to write is the letter H. I look it up in the chart. I see that H is made of 4 dots. I'm going to put 1 dot in each box and leave 1 box as a space in between each of my dots. The next letter is the letter I. I'm going to leave 3 boxes as spaces and then start my letter I, which is 2 dits, 2 little circles. Next, I'm starting a new word. I need to leave a longer space. I'm going to count 7 boxes. And then I'm going to add the letter O, and then the letter P, and then the letter S. I count 7 boxes for a longer space, and O is 3 das, 3 long lines. I'm making each one 3 boxes long. Then I leave 3 empty boxes before I start my next letter, the letter P. And then I leave 3 boxes as the space before my letter S, which is 3 dits. I got very close to the edge of my paper here. My S is actually at the very end. So that's how we write "Hi, OPS." So we can send that through a wire, and if somebody is listening at the other end, they would hear dit 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 dit, and they would need to decode it So they would use their Morse code key and they would say, oh, dit, 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 4 dits. That's the letter H. And when they hear dit, dit, they can look it up and find that it's the letter I. Da, da, da is O. Dit, da, da, dit is P. And dit, dit, dit is S. So they translated, they decoded my message. Hi, OPS. Let's do another word. Can you figure out what word I'm writing? That's the first letter. That's the second letter. That's the third letter, and it might look familiar to you. That's the fourth letter. And that's the last letter. Try to translate it using the Morse code key, the Morse code chart. I'm going to put vertical lines in between the letters to make it easier for you to see where each letter starts and ends. Spoiler alert, if you're not ready to see the answer, pause the video here. Now I'm going to show you how to write your dits and das if you don't have graph paper. After you write your first letter, put a vertical line after it. Keep adding vertical lines after each letter. When you get to the end of a word, put 2 vertical lines. This message has 2 words. Each word has 4 letters in it. Can you figure out what this message says? Spoiler alert, if you haven't translated it yet, pause here, figure it out. Here comes the answer. Now you know how Morse code works. Come up with your own message, keep it short, translate it into Morse code, make a picture or video for Flipgrid, and challenge me and your classmates to decode your message. Write it very clearly, put vertical lines between the letters and words so we can figure out what you're trying to say. And we will put our guesses in the comments under your video. And then you can comment and tell us if our guesses are right. I wonder what your secret messages will say.